Good evening, my friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Terror Radio Podcast. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. This is a podcast dedicated in bringing you the best of horror and thriller, old-time radio broadcasts, as well as original stories. I'm your host, Keith, aka the Radio Show Nerd, and tonight's episode is entitled Cries in the Mist. Whereas both of our stories deal with an ominous fog, but that's where the similarities end. Being that our first story mainly deals with nature gone amok, and the fog is something to fear. But in our second story, the fog is used as a shroud, if you will, by our killer for protection. So, without further ado, this is Terror Radio. The two radio series highlighted tonight are The Hall of Fantasy and Suspense. Our first radio play is called Night the Fog Came In, and it was first broadcasted on Hall of Fantasy March 23rd, 1953. Following that is the radio play The Man in the Fog, and this was first broadcasted on Suspense September 24th, 1961. Now, you all know the drill. Sit back, turn down the lights, and listen to Night the Fog Came In, followed by The Man in the Fog.
And now, the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the series of radio dramas dedicated to the supernatural, the unusual, and the unknown. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend to the world of the unknown and forbidden, down to the depths where the veil of time is lifted, and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to the tale of The Night the Fog Came.
It came from our right. We'd better take a look. Come on. We're getting close to the lake. Only this fog. Wait a minute. There. Right there. Let's take a look. I hope he's all right. Roll him over. All right. He's dead. I know. Do you realize how he died? What do you mean? Look at him closer, Hal. His clothes aren't wet. Even his hair isn't wet. But look at the water trickling from his mouth. This man died less than a minute ago on dry land, 200 yards from the lake. And he died by drowning.
In just a moment, the Hall of Fantasy will present The Night the Fog Came. And now for our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Night the Fog Came.
If the theory of evolution is correct, then there is a connection between the minute organisms which are found to be living in water and life as we know it today. But what connection with us did those things have which came from out of the fog? What connection with human life did those horrible creatures who came from the depths have? And what is their purpose? Why did they suddenly appear and destroy, then vanish as suddenly as they had come? I shall tell you as much as I know about it. Listen to the tale of The Night the Fog Came. The first inkling of their existence came to us as we were going through some routine research. I dropped over to the lab to see Hal. Harold Enroth was perhaps one of the foremost men in his field. Our friendship stretched back for many years. I'd been away for a while, and so I dropped in at the lab to see him one morning.
Jeff, you old dog, you're a sight for sore eyes.
How are things going, Al?
Fine, couldn't be better. How'd you like your vacation?
I can't wait till next year. I hated to come back.
You know, Jeff, I'm glad you dropped in. I have a little problem.
Oh? What is it, money?
No, not that. Here, I'll show you. Pull those blinds, will you?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
There you are.
I have a specimen here on the slide. I want you to take a look at it.
Go ahead. Turn the projector on.
All right. There. How do you think of that?
I don't know. It looks like some form of water life. But I don't think I've ever seen it before.
This has been enlarged 100 times. There's no use trying to recognize what it is. It's a form of water life completely unknown to us.
A new form of life. Where did you get this?
It's a specimen of water one of our field researchers took from the westernmost tip of Lake Superior, somewhere near the Wisconsin-Minnesota border.
Have you contacted anyone else about it?
No.
Why not?
Well, it's...
Come on. Don't try to avoid telling me, Hal. We know each other too well for that.
All right. Listen to me, Jeff.
All right.
Everything I say is fact. I've conducted countless tests to discover what I do know about this form of life. That thing is able to reproduce itself.
A Hydra type?
Possibly. But that's beside the point right now. What's more important, all trace of the other organisms in that drop of water has disappeared.
Are you serious?
Of course I am. And another thing. There was a little mist hovering above what was left of the water.
A mist?
That's what I call it. Something like fog.
Why, that's impossible.
No, it's not. I know that when the water evaporated, it should have been dispersed into the air. Eventually it was, but not for several hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hal. I still can't...
Here, I'll show you. We have a little of the water left.
It's over here in this jar.
You can see for yourself.
Well, it looks just like ordinary water.
I know it does. But believe me when I say it isn't. Now, it'll take just about 3 minutes. Do you see what's happening?
I can't believe my eyes.
See that little cloud of misty vapor beginning to form like fog?
Yes. But what causes it?
I wish I knew. Our field men say the conditions up there are getting to be unbearable. The whole area for 100 square miles is almost covered completely by this fog.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going up there myself. Jeff, if I send for you, will you join me?
Of course.
I may need you. I may need everyone I can get. It's begun to prey on my mind, Jeff. Somehow I think there's something in back of this. Something the likes of which the world has never seen. Something evil.
Hal went up there the afternoon of the morning I had seen him. At first he wrote that the reports had been exaggerated. Then he discovered that all traces of the new form of life had disappeared. He decided to return. I was quite glad to get that letter from Hal. Before he had gone up there, he had been quite worried. The only thing I couldn't understand was what had become of the new water life form. The day before he was to return to the city... Hello?
Jeff, this is Hal.
Where are you? I thought you...
I had them put me through direct to you, Jeff. I need your assistance.
What's the matter?
I've already called Arnold Simpson and Jack Rackle. They've agreed to come. I need you too, Jeff, just as soon as you can possibly make it.
Don't worry, Hal. I'll be there.
Remember, as soon as you can possibly make it.
I knew Arnold Simpson, and he and I went up together. The train left Chicago and headed north, and then slightly west over Illinois and Wisconsin. Simpson and I talked it over on our way up there. Hal talked to you before he left, didn't he, Arnold?
Yes, he did. I never had enough time to get up to his lab so he could show me what it was, but his words were description enough. Frankly, I'm worried.
In what way?
Jeff, why should a new form of water life suddenly appear? Why should it destroy everything with which it comes into contact? And why should the mist or the fog appear to be so dense and heavy?
I don't know.
That's just the trouble. We don't know. Where has this form of life been, or did it just develop? What's its reason for being here?
Perhaps we'll find the answers to those questions when we get there, Arnold.
Perhaps. But I'm convinced of this much, Jeff. Whatever it is, whatever that fog is hiding, poses a new problem for us. A problem which may be unsolvable, and which could very well destroy the human race.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Night the Fog Came.
Simpson seemed disinclined to talk, and so we spent the remainder of the trip in silence, both of us lost in our thoughts. We arrived at the town and then hired a car to take us to the little village, where we would find Hal Enron. The closer we came to our final destination, the darker the sky became, and the air was heavy with a mist which was both damp and clammy. It was an old rickety car, and the roads were little better than the ground on either side of it. The car stopped a few hundred feet from our destination.
You gotta walk the rest of the way.
You said you'd drive us all the
Look,
way.
mister, I come farther than I was going to in the first place. I ain't no mood to go into the woods up there. If you're gonna go, then you walk in.
Jeff, can't you do something?
I don't think so. Here's your pay.
Thanks.
Let's go, Arnold. It could be worse, Arnold.
I suppose so. He seemed genuinely afraid.
Aren't you?
A little.
Hey, we must be pretty close to the lake.
I've never seen the fog this thick. It's unnatural.
Eventually, we made it up to the house. Hal was there waiting for us and showed us where we would sleep. Through the window, I could see that the fog seemed to be getting thicker.
That's an eerie, lonely sound.
You get used to it after you've been here for a while. Hal, you wrote me that this fog, the new form of life, had disappeared.
It had. But 2 days ago, it suddenly reappeared. And with it, the fog returned.
Then there must be a connection between the two.
Yes, but what?
I haven't any idea. Look, I have to go down to the village for some food. We don't have enough here to feed 4 of us. Will you come with me, Jeff?
Certainly.
I'll be right back, Arnold. It's only about a mile away near the lake.
Go ahead. That trip made me tired.
I think I'll take a nap. The house in which we were staying was on a high level of ground which tapered off on the side facing the lake. It was only 3 p.m, but it looked almost as dark as late evening. And there was something about that cloudy mist. It was cold and clammy and smelled strongly of the lake. I don't see how you were able to stand it up here by yourself.
Well, I had a lot of things to interest me.
I was all ready to meet you at the station, but then when I got your call, I didn't know what to think.
I wish I could understand this, Jeff. The fog disappeared when the water life disappeared. When signs of this strange new form of life showed again, the fog came back. Why?
Maybe we can find the answer to that.
Well, I hope so. Actually, the sound of that foghorn does get on your nerves.
Yes, I can imagine it would.
You know, if this were a clear day, you could see the village from here.
Oh?
Actually, it's just a tiny resort town for fishermen and hunters. And it's located right on the westernmost tip of the lake. Imagine it must...
Help me!
It came from our right. We'd better take a look. Come on. We're getting close to the lake. If only this fog would...
Wait a minute. There, right there.
Let's take a look.
I hope he's all right.
All right. Roll him over. Okay.
He's dead. I know. But do you realize how he died?
What do you mean?
Look at him closer, Hal. His clothes aren't wet. Even his hair isn't wet. But look at the water trickling from his mouth. This man died less than a minute ago on dry land, 200 yards from the lake. And he died by drowning.
That's not possible.
Are you sure he drowned? There must be a doctor down at the village. Let's take him down there and see what the doctor says. Only I'm sure he'll agree with me. Together, we carried the man down to the village. Luckily for us, he was of slight build, not too heavy. It took us almost half an hour to get him down there. When we finally did arrive, it took another few minutes to locate the doctor.
What do you think, Doctor?
Get them out of here. All right. Will you please wait outside? The doctor can't work with you in here.
He's just like all the others, ain't he, Doc?
Please, wait outside. Thank you. What did he mean by he's just like all the others, Doctor?
Just what he said. Ever since this fog has settled down again, 5 people have died.
All in the same way?
Yes.
You mean by drowning?
That's right.
I can't understand how this man we found could die by drowning when he wasn't in the water. You know, he reached him about a minute after he screamed. How could he drown?
Professor Enroth, I've been asking myself that same question about all the others. I've been almost half insane these past 2 days trying to find the solution.
Dr. Craig, this fog, has it always been like this in the area?
No, not until about 2 months ago.
Which coincides with the time we first discovered that new form of water life.
What did you say?
Nothing, Doctor. We're doing a little research work up here, that's all.
this keeps up, I'm afraid of what might happen. I've never seen anything like it before. The fog, those deaths, how can they be explained?
We don't know, Doctor. We just don't know. When we got back to the house, we discovered that Simpson had indeed taken a nap. Our arrival must have awakened him, for as we entered, he came slowly down the stairs from the second floor.
Need any help?
No, we can manage, but come out to the kitchen with us.
What's the matter with you two?
We found a dead man on our way to the village.
Are you serious?
Just set those bags on the table.
All right.
Oh, I'm not joking, Arnold. We heard a scream. It took us about a minute to get to him. He was dead when we got there.
A knife?
Drowned.
What?
On dry land, 200 yards from the lake.
You must be insane.
No, it's the truth, Arnold. And there have been 4 other deaths just like it.
When did they happen?
In the last 2 days.
Since the fog reappeared.
That's right.
Then there is a definite connection between this fog and the new life form you've discovered, Hal.
That's right. But what's the connection? We'd gotten back to the house about 6 o'clock. It was about 7 that it happened. Simpson said he was going outside for a minute. He opened the door.
I just want to get outside for a minute. Good heavens.
What's wrong?
Take a look.
The fog, it's so thick.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Shut the door. Some of it's getting inside.
It's moving along the floor. Just
Shut the door!
Did you see it?
Yes.
The fog. Just like it was alive. Moving like a living thing. Creeping along the floor.
Back now to our story. An original tale of fantasy by Richard Thorne entitled The Night the Fog Came.
When Simpson had opened the door, the fog crept into the house in little wisps that curled and snaked this way and that. It looked like a thing alive.
You saw it, didn't you, Hal?
Yes, I saw it.
What does it mean?
I'm afraid of what it means.
You mean you know?
I hope I'm wrong, but I'm afraid I'm not. It's just possible that this form of life has developed from something that was present in the water all the time. The great brute animals ruled the world before man appeared and then were destroyed. Eventually, mankind wrested the supremacy of the earth from the other animal and plant life. Perhaps the cycle is to continue. Perhaps, after man, this new form of life. As the minutes passed by, we noticed that little slips of the fog began inching their way through every opening of the house. It was Simpson who pointed down at the bottom of the door and first brought it to our attention. We began to plug up all the openings in the house. At first, we did it slowly, but as time passed, we worked faster and more feverishly. No matter how tired we became, we had to finish the job or the fog might claim the house, too. It was too quiet. The only thing we heard was the distant, monotonous call of the foghorn. And then Hal broke the silence. Do you know why this fog is so thick?
I wish I did.
This might be insane, but it has to be the answer. That fog is carrying moisture, a lot of it, perhaps enough to also carry this new form of life. To move it from place to place, to spread it even farther. To kill everything which stands in its way.
That might be it.
It is, I'm sure it is.
Well, in that case, what happened to break it up the first time?
And that's the solution to the problem. I don't know what it is, but it did break it up the first time. It drove it back, down to the depths from where it came. That's why there was no sign of it in the water.
That came from right outside the house.
Racco. He said he was going to arrive this evening.
We better take a look. Bring the flashlight.
Right, let's go. That light doesn't carry more than a few feet. It's so wet out here.
Over there. Look.
Little pinpoints of light dancing up and down, all clustered together.
That must be it. Come on. It's spreading out.
Look. There, on the ground. It's Racco.
The same way. The same way as the other one. The little specks of dancing luminescence had withdrawn from Racco's body, but now we noticed that there seemed to be more of them. We carried the body back to the house. We'd forgotten to close the door behind us, and some of the fog had gotten inside. It wasn't too bad, however, and little by little it began to disperse.
Look out that window.
Yes, I see them. Gathering together with a whole mass, getting larger and larger all the time. Separating like the Hydra. It must be destroyed.
Yes, but how?
They created the fog. That must be the only way they can travel on land. They must have a basic water carrier.
Have you realized what this means?
What are you getting at?
The area this fog now covers is 100 square miles. Every animal in this area may lose its life. And then what happens? They divide again and again and again. And the area of the fog keeps getting larger all the time. If it isn't stopped now, while we still have a chance, it may never be stopped.
And I ask you the same question, Simpson. How?
I don't know.
Someone's outside. Let them in quickly. They're moving towards the house.
Oh, thank goodness. I didn't think I'd make it.
It's a miracle that you did.
Sit down, Doctor.
Thank you. I was out for a call on my way back to town. I noticed how thick the fog was. And then I noticed the animals lying dead in the forest. The smell of their death was in the air. I continued on towards the town. And then I saw the bodies lying just where they had fallen. The whole town seemed to be covered by a strange luminescent mass, which in some manner moved. I was afraid. Then I thought of you people in this house, and I got here as soon as I could.
I don't know how long we'll be able to withstand them, Doctor. I'm sure the townspeople are dead now. In fact, almost every living creature in the area must be dead.
But what is it? What caused it?
If we get out of this alive, Doctor, we'll tell you.
Look outside. It must have split again. It's twice the size it was.
What are we going to do?
Look into the doorway. They're getting through.
Plug it up. Use some newspaper, clothes, anything. We've got to stop it.
Constant opening and closing of the door. Loosen the other things we have down there.
I think that'll do.
Look, the things that did get in. First you see their light, and then they're gone. What happens to them?
Perhaps we can't see them.
Or perhaps they die.
Hal, wait a minute. Your first letters to me mentioned the fact that the mist had been dispersed. What caused it?
I don't know.
Doctor, you're a native of these parts. Yes. I want you to tell me about anything unusual which happened that day. Well, I don't remember anything about that day particularly. I remember I was quite pleased to see that the fog had lifted. It was a beautiful day. Unseasonably warm. In fact, the sun was quite hot. Heat. I wonder if
what, Jeff?
These things, these Hydra-type creatures must die in the heat. This house is quite warm. The day the fog was dispersed was warm with a bright sun. Perhaps that's the answer. Doctor, is there any fire break around this area? Well, there was one cut through the trees several years ago. Yes. Case of a fire, a bad one, in the heavy timberlands. Everyone was instructed to get into this area.
In other words, there's a complete fire break around this entire area.
Yes. It comprises about 150 square miles.
And that's it. It's the only chance we have. We'll burn out this area and hope it drives them back.
There's some oil downstairs.
Get it. We'll start the fire here and hope it sets fire to the trees surrounding this house.
Be right back.
We'll have to make a run for it once this place is on fire. We may not come out of this alive, but we can try. The last one. Good. Now, everybody knows what...
You'd better light it. Those things outside, they're going to get in.
Each man will carry a torch. Yes.
All right, light your torches.
All right.
And then set fire to this house.
All right. Lighting mine.
All right. And yours now?
All right.
One more.
Right.
Under the door. They're pouring in under the door.
Set the house on fire.
Let's get out of here.
No matter what happens, keep holding those torches. They're afraid of fire. All right, make a run for it. Come on, Doctor.
Forget him.
The fire caught hold, and the entire area was burned out. A week later, the smoke had cleared, and the fire was out. There was no sign of the fog, which had meant death to so many things. I had caught a glimpse of the doctor. He had dropped his torch, and it had gone out. He was immediately engulfed in those luminescent killers. I'm going back up there with Enroth and Simpson. Though there is now no trace of those things in the water, still we know they lurk somewhere, waiting for their moment. We must destroy them, once and for all, before that moment arrives.
So runs tonight's tale of the unusual, the terrifying, the unknown. Join us again when next we journey down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy to hear another strange tale of the supernatural. All characters and events portrayed in these programs are fictional, and any similarity to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
And now, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. A man walks in the fog, and a woman dies. Terror grips the city, and the police are helpless. For the murders are without pattern and apparently without motive. Listen now to Act One of The Man in the Fog, starring Robert Dryden and Ethel Everett, written especially for Suspense by Joseph Cochran.
It's horrible. Think of it, then. 3, now 4. Ripped with a knife and left in the gutter.
Oh, don't take on so, Mamie.
Alive 1 minute, a clawing corpse the next. Why don't the police do something?
I don't know why. Why don't they?
They're at their wits' end is why. They do think it's a working man, though.
Why? But that's like them, to blame a poor working man for anything that happens.
It says the killings always happen on weekends, so they guess the one who's doing it is working the other days.
If they're so smart, why don't they catch him?
Well, they don't really know. Anyhow, they're doubling the night force on weekends until he's caught.
Maybe he's too smart to get caught.
They're asking everyone to help, and the newspapers offering a reward. It's right here. This paper will pay £500 to any person who offers a clue which leads to the arrest and conviction of the monster who holds the city in terror.
Monster? That's what they're calling a poor working man?
Oh, what I could do with £500. I'd get a new oilcloth for the table and paint the kitchen, maybe a new sink, and then
Well, you ain't got it, so stop thinking of all the things you'd spend it for.
Supposing we could give the police an idea which would lead them to this killer.
Where would you get an idea? You don't know anything about this sort of thing.
I didn't get it from you, of that you can be sure.
All right. What's this idea?
Why should I tell you when all you ever did was to make fun of me when I tried to win a little money for us?
Oh, them puzzle contests. You spent a lot of time and never won a thing. This is different. What's your idea?
I'm not sure I'm going to tell you.
It ain't right to keep things from your husband.
You keep things from me.
What things?
You don't tell me where you go on Saturdays and Sundays.
Can't a man take a walk without his wife say so? Now, you tell me,
You
or
don't need to shout at me. I was going to tell you all along, but you turned up your nose at the idea of getting some money. Here, look at this map.
So, it's a map of the city. What about it?
See them 4 crosses?
Yes.
Well, each one marks the spot where a woman was killed. And when you connect them up, it makes an almost perfect square.
Ah, anybody can make a square like that.
Put that map flap on the table and I'll show you something.
All right, now it's on the table. Now what?
Well, here's where my idea comes in. Whoever's doing the killing lives inside that square.
Oh, my sweet, there's over 1 million people living inside that square.
But the killer goes in a different direction each time.
How do you know that?
Well, it just stands to reason he's not going to kill a woman in front of his own house. He takes a different direction so as not to have 2 happen in the same place.
Suppose he does live inside the square. How are the police to know whether or
Wait
not...
a minute. That's where the rest of my idea comes in. I take a ruler and I draw 2 diagonal lines connecting the opposite corners, like this.
What's that for?
He most likely lives close to where them 2 lines cross.
I can't make out any names on this map.
Now, let's see. This line comes along and it crosses... Dan.
What's the matter?
The lines. Then the lines cross right here in our own block. Then maybe it's someone we pass on the street every day.
I say, what are you doing here? Come on, dearie, get up. This is no place to be sleeping. Come on, get up. Here, I'll give you a hand. Mother in heaven.
Ben, it's happened again. Right here in our room block.
What are the lights on for?
Just like all the others, dead and lying in the gutter.
Turn off them lights. They cost money.
I'm scared. Didn't you hear me? Your wife's been here all alone, dying with fear. Don't you know there's been a murder almost on our doorstep?
Oh, quit screeching. I know it.
You do? Well, how do you know if...
No, police are all over the place. They stopped me coming home and wanted to know who I was and what I was doing.
Why are you running the water this time of morning?
Don't you see? I'm washing my hands.
Seems to me you could wash up at the factory.
Oh, shut up. Can't a man make himself clean without his wife yelling at him?
Who's yelling? It's you they can hear all over the house.
Yes. All right, Mamie, there's no sense in shouting at each other. I'm done in. Give me some brandy.
Brandy? This time of the morning?
Get it. And don't give me any jaw.
Brandy. Now you've got to have brandy when you get home. To quiet your tender nerves, I suppose. Here. Heaven knows after what's happened, it's me that needs it.
That's the stuff. Oh, Mamie, you do done in. You better take one.
Well, just a drop.
This time it didn't happen on a weekend.
No, it didn't.
So, maybe it ain't a working man after all.
I didn't say it was. It was the police's idea.
And what about your fancy idea of him going in a different direction each time?
Well, I don't know what to think now.
Maybe you ain't so smart after all. Maybe you better tend to the housework and forget about rewards.
I'm going to bed. Well, are you coming?
I'll be along in a minute.
What? I ain't you the fancy one.
What's that?
You just got through washing your hands, so don't you remember?
No, I didn't.
Paulie.
Oh, yes, Mr. Britt.
Anything resembling a clue in those letters?
Oh, they're the usual stuff. 6 confessions, plenty of advice on how to catch him.
Yes. What's that one?
Oh, that's from a Mrs. Ben Cast. She notices that if you connect the 4 murder locations, it forms a square.
A big help. Everyone, including the police, noticed that.
Now, she's got the idea the killer must live where the 2 diagonals cross. It's the date that made me put it aside.
Oh, let me see that. Mailed on the 24th. Night of the last murder.
Yes, and it took place within 100 feet where the lines cross on the map, sir. Of course, it could be coincidence.
Could be. Well, we'll have to make a routine call on Mrs. Cast.
Are you the timekeeper?
That's right. What can I do for you?
My husband forgot his lunch. Could you see it was sent in to him?
All right. What's his name?
Cast. Ben Cast. He works in the grinding shed.
He didn't check in tonight.
You mean he's not here?
Here's his card. It's not punched.
But he left home at the regular time.
Maybe he's out with a blonde.
But Ben never misses work. He's never stayed away before.
He's pretty regular. He missed work only once before this month. Before tonight, I mean.
Once before? When was that?
Well, let's see. Here it is. Wednesday, the 24th.
The 24th?
Yes.
Wednesday. No, it can't be. That was the night of the...
Here it is. That time clock doesn't lie.
Good Lord.
I say, what's the matter?
Nothing. I'm all right.
You don't look like it, Mrs. Cast. You better take the bus home. You shouldn't be out alone in this fog with that fellow still at large. I guess you know what I mean.
Ben, is that you?
Of course it's me.
Has there been another?
Don't pester me with questions. I'm done in.
I walked in. If you're looking for the brandy, it's on the table.
Hello, Cast. I see you brought your lunch tonight.
I got to eat, don't I?
Well, the other night when you forgot it, your wife brought it down. That's the night you didn't check in.
She was here?
Yes.
You told her I didn't come to work?
What else could I tell her? If you wanted me to cover for you, you should have let me know.
Well, good night, Mrs. Cass. Sorry to have bothered you, but the police have to make a check of every letter, and we do appreciate your desire to help catch this murderer.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
What do you think, sir?
Oh, she's a very frightened woman.
I just can't blame her. First a murder, a stone's throw away. Then the police drop in.
Yes, better run a check on her husband just to be on the safe side. You know where he works and all that sort of thing.
Who's there? Oh, Ben, what are you doing home? Don't you're hurting my arm.
The minute my back's turned, you call the police.
No, Ben, they came to ask me about the letter. It don't mean a thing. They said so. They just had to check all the letters. They get dozens of them.
What did you tell them?
Nothing. Honest. There was nothing I could tell them.
They asked about me, didn't they?
I had to tell them I was married and that you worked nights.
Did they ask you about Wednesday night?
No, they didn't ask. What Wednesday? Then please let go my arm.
The night you brought my lunch to the factory. The night you left the brandy out for me.
I knew you'd be tired after working hard all night. It's good when you're tired. Let me get your glass now.
Wednesday. You followed me. You left the brandy. You know, don't you?
I don't know anything, Ben. I don't want to know. You don't have to tell me where you go or what you do, Ben. Ben, you're hurting me. I'll never ask again.
You said I was a monster. You want me to get caught so you can get the money?
No, Ben, I don't want the money. I tore the map up. It was a crazy idea. Didn't mean anything. The men said so.
You put them on my trail. They'll go to the factory. They'll ask questions. They'll be after me like hound dogs, sniffing and baying at my heels because of you. All because of you.
Ben, please listen to me. Put down the knife.
It's all up with me because of you. But I'll finish you just like I've finished all the others.
Ben, listen. Ben, you need me now more than you ever did. But Ben, I can help you. I'm the only one who can help you throw them off the scent.
You led them to me. How are you going to lead them away?
You need someone to swear you was home all those nights you didn't go to work. Don't you see, Ben? I'm the only one who can do that. Suppose they ask where you were those nights.
I'll say I was at home.
But they won't believe you. Not unless you have someone to back you up. You've got to have an alibi.
Alibi?
Someone who'll say you couldn't be near the place the time it happened.
Yeah. Not going to snitch on me?
No, Ben. Never. I'll never tell. Please put away the knife.
Well, maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
You've got to let me live. Because without an alibi, they'll hang you.
You'll say I was at home those nights?
I'll swear it, Ben. Who else can do that for you? Ben, you're tired. Let me get you some brandy.
Yeah. Brandy. That's what I need. Get it.
Well, here's the picture, Hawley. For a time, the murders took place on weekends. Then they stop but take place in the middle of the week.
And on Wednesday, the 24th, Cast doesn't report for work. First time in 6 years. 2 weeks later, Cast misses work again. And there's another murder.
Yes, he's our man, all right. But proving it, it's another matter.
There hasn't been another since we questioned him.
Oh, he'll try again. It's only a matter of time.
Do you really think so, sir?
Oh, sure of it.
But assuming it is Cast, wouldn't he be a fool to try again?
Whoever it is, he can't help himself. He'll try again and again. until he's caught.
And all we can do is stand by and wait for it to happen again.
That's it. We know that it'll happen. We know how it'll happen, but we don't know when and we don't know where. What does the weatherman say?
Heavy fog rolling in, sir.
Ain't it chilly enough without opening the window and filling the room with a damp fog?
Thick, heavy fog. I can't see the corner light.
Close the window.
I like the smell of cool, wet fog.
Then ain't it time you started for work? Ben.
Huh? What'd you say?
It's time you started for work.
Oh, I'm not going tonight.
Not going? What's come over you?
I don't like the factory on nights like this.
You'll stay in, Ben, won't you? If you don't go to work.
The walls press in on me. I want to walk in the cool, wet fog. It's all about one, but it doesn't press in. It's a wall all round, but it gives way as I walk into it.
No. No, stay home if you wish, but don't go walking in the fog.
You call the factory and tell them I'm not coming in.
Then please, if I call them, will you promise not to...
Do as I say.
All right, I'll go phone. I'll be right back. Hello? I'm calling for Ben Cast. He's sick and he won't be in tonight. No, not serious. He'll be in tomorrow night. Yes, tomorrow. Ben, I got the timekeeper. Ben, why have you got your slicker on? You promised me you'd never walk in the fog again.
There's someone out there calling me.
You're talking wild.
It's my mission. There's a soul out there begging to be released from the claws of the flesh so as it can soar up to heaven.
Ben, don't.
Get out of my way!
Mr. Brett, you've got to put him away. He'll kill me if he knows I came to you.
Mrs. Cast, we can't use anything you've told us in court because a wife cannot testify against her husband.
But he killed him, I know it.
And then again, he never actually confessed it to you. All we've got is that each time he missed work, there was a murder.
What are we going to do now?
Well, first, I've got to get a confession out of him.
You'll never do that. After I talked him out of killing because he needed an alibi, he's become more sure of himself than ever.
Woman for his alibi. Well, you wait, Mrs. Cast. I've ordered him brought in.
You'll not let him see me, will you?
That, depends. Mr. Cast, on Wednesday the 24th, there was a murder not far from your home.
Everybody knows that.
Yes, and, on Wednesday the 24th, you missed work for the first time in 6 years.
I didn't feel well, so I stayed home.
And 2 weeks later, there was another murder. You missed work a second time in 6 years.
Man can get sick, can't he?
2 hours ago, a woman was killed. And the third time in 6 years, you didn't report for work. Where were you 2 hours ago, Mr. Cast?
I was at home.
And those other nights, where were you?
Home?
Well, I'm glad to hear that. You understand, though, we can't just take your word for it. Now, if there was someone who could testify for you...
You mean if I had an alibi?
Exactly.
Well, I have got an alibi. My wife will swear I was home those nights.
But, she's a woman, Mr. Cast.
She'll swear to it.
But you know how sneaky women are. How they'll lie their heads off. What traps they set for men.
Yes. I know.
Yes, they'll swear not to do something, and a moment later, they'll do the opposite.
But Mamie said she wouldn't do...
But she's a woman, Mr. Cast. Don't forget how greedy they are. And there's a reward out for the killer.
Yes. Mamie wanted the reward.
Ben, I'm going to tell you something. Just between you and me, understand?
I'm not to tell anybody else.
Right. I hate women, too.
Oh, yes?
Those women who got the knife in the fog, they all had it coming to them.
Yes. They had it coming to them.
Look, Ben, I want to show you something. Now, who's that woman talking to my man?
Mamie. And he's writing down what she says.
As I said, you can't depend on them.
Well, Mamie, she's my alibi. What will I do? She's the only one who can swear where I was those nights.
You can tell me, Ben, because I understand. Now, tell me where you really were those nights. Tell me how you walked in the cool, wet fog that formed a blanket all around you. Tell me how a dim figure of a woman would come out of the fog. How your hand would go to the knife. The knife. Ben?
The knife? Yes. You do understand things. You do understand me. My hand would go to the knife all by itself. It would take it. I could hear a soul wailing in the body of a woman, begging to be freed from the claws of the flesh. And then my hand would lift the knife, and in a minute, the soul would be free. And then my head would stop hurting.
Suspense. You've been listening to The Man in the Fog, starring Robert Dryden and Ethel Everett, and written especially for Suspense by Joseph Cochran. Suspense is produced and directed by Bruno Zerato Jr. Music supervision by Ethel Huber. Also featured in tonight's story were Mercer McLeod, Lawson Zerby, and Guy Rep. Listen again next week when we return with No Hiding Place, written by William N. Robeson. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. They sing, too. Carol Burnett and Richard Hayes, weeknights on the CBS Radio Network.
Chevrolet spotlights the news. Chevrolet, in behalf of your local authorized Chevrolet dealer, who invites you to see the new 1962 Chevrolets on Friday, September 29th, brings you Alan Jackson with the latest news from the CBS newsroom.
The president is conferring with his advisors in New York. The attorney general had a word on nuclear weapons. The stories in a moment, after a word from Chevrolet.
May I help you, sir? Oh, yes. I'd like to see some of those 62 Chevrolet cars.
I'm afraid you're a bit early, sir. The new 62 Chevrolets and Corvairs won't be shown to the public until September 29th.
September 29th?
Yes, sir. That's the day we Chevrolet dealers unveil the 62 Chevrolets, Corvairs, and the totally
couldn't you
new...
show me a picture of what they look like? What they look like?
Not until September 29th.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Oh, sorry, sir, but I'm afraid you'll just have to wait until Friday, September 29th.
Well, baby, maybe you could tell me something about them.
Well, the new 1962 Chevrolets and Corvairs are absolutely beyond description. And the totally new line of cars
Yes?
is... Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You'll just have to wait until September 29th.
But waiting makes me no service. So nervous. Couldn't you...
Not until Friday, September 29th. Friday, September 29th.
Are you trying to fake money me?
2 more names have been added to the meeting President Kennedy is having in New York this evening. Arthur Dean, who headed our delegation at the disarmament talks, and John McCloy, the President's advisor on disarmament, were called in to join Secretary Rusk and Ambassador Stevenson in a preview of the speech the President will deliver to the UN General Assembly tomorrow. He flew down from Cape Cod a little over an hour ago. The Russians, in a memo to the UN on the eve of the opening of the new General Assembly session, reasserted that they will unconditionally accept any Western proposals for control measures if the West will first accept Premier Khrushchev's program for general and complete disarmament. The President's brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy, in a broadcast interview, said there is no question that the President would use nuclear weapons, if necessary, to save the freedom of Berlin. If we retreat at Berlin, he said, we will never be able to stand up again. Democratic Senator Mike Mansfield says there are some things in the Berlin crisis which can be negotiated, things which don't affect the freedom of West Berlin or the security of the free world. And he said that de facto recognition of the East German communists might well be inevitable. There have already been angry protests by some West Germans at the idea of any form of recognition, but Mansfield pointed out that the West Germans themselves already recognize East Germany in one form, that is, more than $300 million worth of trade agreements every year. The communists of Berlin are still having trouble keeping their reluctant citizens out of the West, despite the new concrete wall, barbed wire, and other barricades along the city dividing line. At least 20 East Berliners escaped to freedom during the day by jumping out of windows, scrambling through barbed wire, and climbing over the wall, and some made their way into the western side of town by digging a tunnel through the wall of a stable on the border. 3 Air Force servicemen were killed in the crash of an Air Force transport plane in Wilmington, North Carolina. The plane had just taken off with newsmen and members of the skydiving parachute team preparing to jump for an air show down below. It stalled on takeoff and crashed on the edge of the field in full view of the spectators and a TV audience watching over the local TV station. 11 other persons aboard the plane were injured. Death came to a career diplomat at his home in New Jersey. Sumner Wells, a former Undersecretary of State, died at the age of 68. The exact cause of his death was not announced. It was Wells who coined the phrase good neighbor policy in describing our attitude toward the nations of Latin America. Argentina's President Frondizi is on his way to New York, where he'll meet with President Kennedy Tuesday morning. And there are hints in Rio that Brazil's new President Goulart would be pleased to accept an invitation to visit the president in Washington. And so-called informed sources are suggesting that such an invitation likely will be sent within the next few weeks. That's the news. Now a word from Chevrolet.
This is Art Baker speaking for Chevrolet in behalf of your local authorized Chevrolet dealer, who invites you to see the new 1962 Chevrolets coming Friday, September 29th.
Remember, Chevrolet brings you the news 12 times each weekend on CBS Radio.
Well, that's our show for tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And remember, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/terror1970, or you can find me on Instagram at Radio Show Nerd, or on Blueskye at Terror Radio. I also have a YouTube channel. Please check it out. Like and subscribe. Share the videos. It will be highly appreciated. Again, this is your host, Keith, better known as the Radio Show Nerd, signing off.